Hi everyone, it's literally been 2 weeks since I've sat in front of the camera and it feels weird. I have taken a little bit of a break over Chinese New Year just because so much happens during this time. A lot of family gatherings, a lot of eating, a lot of festivities. So Gung Hei Fat Choi or Gung Si Fat Tai to anyone who celebrates. It goes for 15 days, so it may or may not be over by the time this gets up. I also met Lauren May Beauty the other day. Her and Sam, they were down for a week in Melbourne, and then they're off to Sydney as well. And I'm just so glad that she had the time to meet me, because it was just awesome to meet her. We went to Yum Cha. I hope you enjoyed it, Lauren, but I don't know if you did. And I hope that was an interesting experience, but it was fun. I mean, I love Yum Cha, so. Anyway, enough with the long intro. Today I actually wanted to do a video with this palette. This is the Deepsea Luster palette by Kaleidos Cosmetics. They're a company that is very new to me. I haven't really heard much about them, and they actually contacted me to see if I wanted to get this palette to try it out. I, at first, was a little bit skeptical because I hadn't heard of the brand. And when it comes to PR, I often decline it. In fact, this is pretty much the only PR I've accepted besides Miniso, just because oftentimes it just feels like homework and, but let's find out some more. I went on the Instagram, Angelica Nickfist was following them, so I thought, okay, this seems like a legit company. They sent me a 22-page PDF, which never happens. I never get any, I feel like I've been contacted a lot over the years by different brands wanting to, send me things to try out, and I've never really been impressed with any of the stuff, but this looked quite interesting, especially the palette. They do sell brushes as well as eyelashes, but this is what caught my eye. I'll be honest, I had low expectations about this palette, mostly because I hadn't heard of the brand, I hadn't heard anyone talking about it or anything like that. So I did come into this thinking, okay, look, we'll see how it goes. And I'm glad I said yes, because honestly, this has impressed me. Anyway, let's talk about a bit about the brand first, because a lot of you probably haven't heard of this brand. They are a indie brand that was started up by two friends, one who was a beauty blogger and the other a L'Oreal marketer, and they are a Chinese American team. They do seem like a very new brand. They sell all their products on their website, and so far on the website all I can see is this palette and some brushes. They did also send me some lashes as well. They are mink lashes, so I wouldn't necessarily consider them a cruelty-free brand, although on the website they don't seem to be stocking them at the moment, so not sure if they're going to be doing that in future or if they've decided not to do that at all. But they do claim that they're a cruelty-free brand, so take that as you will. So this is what the outside of the packaging looks like. It's the same size as a Natasha Denona palette. It does have this glitter outside, which I personally am not a fan of because it does fall off. I just kind of wish this had plastic over it or something over it to actually adhere the glitter to, otherwise it does kind of get messy. This is what the inside of the palette looks like. 15 shades in here. You've got 2 highlighting shades, what they call highlighting shades, and then 3 contour shades and 10 accent shades. So in this palette there are also different textures, which I really like. There's 4 ultra mattes, which are these 3 up here, and then this one is also a matte. There are 5 ultra metallics. There are 3 pearlescent shades, 1 duochrome, which is Disco Calypso. It's quite a soft shade, but it does have a really nice lilac to blue shift, and 2 3D chrome shades, which I don't quite know what that means, but Jellyfish and Twilight Zone are the 3D chrome shades. This shade, Twilight Zone, is definitely very special. And actually, Jellyfish, to be honest, does remind me slightly of VR Nectar from Pat McGrath, but it's obviously not as glittery. It does have that copper to pink shift, and these shades are both really gorgeous. So when I did first swatch these, I was really, really blown away because they are really, actually, very, very shiny. The metallics are exceptional. And when I applied them on my eyes, I didn't need to use a glitter glue or anything like that to actually make them look like that, which is the kinds of metallics that I like. I think in terms of layout, in terms of textures, in terms of shades, this is a really nice palette. They've got a nice variety and some really gorgeous shades like Twilight Zone, Sea Punk, Sea Nymph, Jellyfish. Beautiful shades. The cost of this palette is $42 US, which for me puts, because of the exchange rate, the terrible exchange rate, it does make this to me a fairly, it's not a cheap palette. It's not a super expensive palette, but it's in the range of an Urban Decay palette, which $42 US does convert to about 75 Australian dollars. So that's where it sits in the Australian market. But in terms of other indie brands, it's pretty standard, I feel, because a lot of indie brands do charge a bit more for their palettes. Sydney Grace Co., their Autumn Rain palette was $52. Clarity Cosmetics also sell 9-pan eyeshadow palettes for around the same price. So I don't think it's completely unreasonable or anything like that, but it's not as cheap as Jouer's place, obviously. I do like that they do offer 15 shades. For me, that makes it a bit more worth it. In terms of ingredients, the ingredients are actually not on the back of this packaging or on the website, which I actually don't like. I don't like it when companies don't make the ingredients available on the website. I just find it a little bit sloppy, a little bit lazy, to be honest. I know a lot of people do like to look at ingredients before they purchase a palette, just in case there's any ingredient that, you know, they don't like in their makeup, but it is on the back of the packaging. I'm gonna put it on the camera here so you can see it, and pause if you'd like to. I just feel like it should be a standard where all brands do list their ingredients on their website. So overall, I do think this is a really fun palette. I think that you've got some really fun shades in here, some really interesting textures like these shades here, but also some shades that are kind of more toned down, more earthy, like these 3 shades here. So in case you don't want to walk out of the house with, you know, a bright berry eye or something too glittery, you can make it look more toned down if you want it to. The formula is a little bit powdery, especially these shades are a bit chunkier. You know, when you put your brush in here, especially with these, you know, more metallic shades, they can, you know, you can have a bit of fallout and it can get a bit messy. But I mean, that doesn't bother me that much. I found that a lot of my eyeshadows are like this anyway. And also the mattes themselves aren't particularly pigmented, but they are buildable. So in a way, it's easy to work with. I did find that they're easy to blend. I also like the fact that there are different textures and different pops of color that you can pair these with. And I do think that these shades pair really well with the accent shades. So I think that in terms of layout and color and textures, they've done a really good job. So yeah, honestly, I am glad I didn't pass on this because I have been enjoying it. I think the looks that can be created are really fun, but also can be really toned down if you want something not as crazy. These shades are my favorite, Sea Nymph and Twilight Zone. I think they're really, really pretty. Gorgeous reflect to them and just beautiful colors. These are the 2 shades that I always want to wear, I always gravitate to. Anyway, before I go and before we get to the demo part, I do want to say that Kaleidos Cosmetics was kind enough to send me an additional one, because I did say that if I really like this, I want to be able to give away one to one of you guys, because I want to give back something back to you and I want there to be something in it for you guys. So if you'd like to win one of these, please comment down below and just tell me that you want to win one. That's all you have to do. And I'll randomly select a winner. All the details will be in the description bar below. And yeah, if you want to see the rest of the video and the demo, then you can keep watching. So I hope you guys enjoyed the demo and the review of this palette. I felt like I was very inarticulate because it's been such a long time since I filled anything, but yeah, I hope you did find this useful. I am, again, glad that I got this palette. Very pleasantly surprised. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.